Welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to fully expand ourselves and really get the outcome of our life that we know we deserve, but we might have been just feeling so stuck and we just can't seem to figure out why our goals are going so slow. Okay, so today the technique is learning how to reframe the questions that we are asking quietly to ourselves. And often it's just really nice to take moments like this because the subconscious works on a 95 to 98% of us. And most of that is blind to us. We don't realize that's holding us back. Where another version of us that's conscious, that's anywhere from 3 to 5%, is saying, hey, wake up, start again, do it again. Come on, let's go, start it again. And so, this version of us that's running from trying so hard, but yet we're running and beating against this wall of 98% of us, it can be very exhausting. And that's where a lot of people say their time and their energy goes is that's usually if I hear that from somebody like, oh, I just don't have time and my energy is so sucked. It's usually because it's on average that when you're beating against the subconscious like this, there are studies that show you're losing at least 30% of your day. Because you think of it as like your mind is like operating in a marathon over and over and over again, trying to like be positive, but it's fighting this like negative version of yourself. That's really draining. It's very exhausting. And I have women that are like, I know I should do better. I could be doing better. I know. But it's like, but don't expect yourself to be doing a workout when you're already doing a marathon in your head. And so it's not until you learn to put yourself into the alignment, and that's what creates the balance. And you really do start to accomplish so much more in your life when you don't feel that resistance. Now, if you think it's unicorn and fairy tale and land like that, I've studied a lot of the brain and a lot about quantum physics and learning about the fourth dimension materializing our third dimension realities. And so, yeah, we can sit here and think it's unicorn, but the facts are the facts. That's measured in physics. Like energy attracts like energy. And as soon as you figure that out, the sooner you're going to find yourself becoming successful. Mark my words. I don't promise a lot of things, but I will promise you that. So today we're going to learn how to reframe the question. So grab your journal, grab your pen. On every one of my episodes, you know that I always give you an action that we can do together so that we're always leveling ourselves up, okay? So what you're going to do is when you grab your journal and your pen, if you need to pause me, and do not move on until you've grabbed your pen and paper. Hold commitment to yourself, integral to yourself. It's important. Draw a line down the middle of your page. And on one side of the page, I want you to write a contracting question. That's just the title of it, contracting question. And on the other side of the page, I want you to write expanding question. Now, what's interesting is in the self-development space, you might have heard things that will be different. I use contracted and expanded a lot, but if it works for you to hear primal versus powerful, or survival versus successful, scarcity versus abundant, or your brake versus your gas. So many different people use so many different terminology. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You can't operate in both at the same time. You can only be in one versus the other. So if you're trying to level yourself up and reach success, the only way to get there is going to be through the powerful, successful, abundant, expanded version of you. And today we're going to find that version of you. So on your side that says contracting, primal, survival, whatever you want to call it, I want you to think of the questions that you ask yourself on repeat. Because remember, we have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts in a day, and 90% of them are on repeat. So if you think about the questions you're asking yourself, some of them might sound like this. Why can't I figure this out? Write that down. What's wrong with me? Why does this always happen to me? Why am I so bad at this? What if I fail? Now, when you look back, pause me if you need to, because I really want you to get all of them out. Think of all of the possible questions you ask on repeat over and over. And if you don't know what they are, I bet you your partner or your kids probably know, because your subconscious speaks a lot. And sometimes you have to have a coach or a loved one hear it to then repeat it back to you. It might be a blind spot. And that's what coaches are really good for, is if they can have their middle ear turned on, they can hear those contracting questions that you're asking yourself. So when you read those questions back to yourself, how do you feel? Do you feel like you can accomplish the world? Do you feel ready to take on the next new task? Do you feel positive and ready to endure life? No. You feel like you want to go to bed and go to sleep, right? Why can't I figure this out? What's wrong with me? Why does this always happen to me? Why am I so bad? What if I fail? And what it's doing is it's sucking the energy out of you. And no wonder why you're going to say, I don't have time or I don't have energy, especially if you're starting to hit over 40. Those are going to be some common phrases that we're going to hear a lot, okay? So now let's go to the opposite side of the page, and I want us to write down some questions that would be expanding instead. So I want you to really think of yours that would be the opposite of what you wrote down on the opposite end. So for example, if the first one was, why can't I figure this out? Well, then the expanding question would be, what would it take for me to figure this out? Or what sign do I need to see in order to figure this out? What skill set do I need in order to get to the root of this? Okay, whatever that is, write that down. Now go to the next one. If it's what's wrong with me is the contracting one, well, think about what would be the expanding. What would be the opposite? Could it be, what is my skill set that I can grow with? Or what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? How is this making me grow and become better? Okay. The next one, why does this always happen to me? The next one is, what can I do differently next time? When you recognize that things that are happening to us, I hate this phrase, but when they actually say it's for us, oh, don't you hate when all the quotes in life that you've heard are starting to all make sense now? Like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and what's happening to us is actually for us. Those are so annoying. But in reality, when I started recognizing, instead of calling it a bad day or a good day, I've recognized that you have to have opposites in order for you to, if you really want to know it's a good day or feel it's a good day or feel that level of emotion, well, then you have to experience the opposite to know what a bad day is in order to feel what a good day is. Or when you have that tension moment in your relationship and you feel like, oh no, here I am again, we're back to fighting. Well, what if it's actually meant for a deeper level of connection or commitment or validity of that other person, to feel validated or expressed, so that there is deeper understanding? It's really interesting when you start to shift that this like intense emotion we put behind this good or bad, when you almost level out the emotion and no longer put as much emphasis towards it, but when you just say it's meant for it's meant for each other, the polarities are meant for each other, it's really interesting, at least a shift in my life that I've been able to see. So I want you to spend some time and really start looking at a life in more of an expanded way, to catch yourself with any of those contracting questions that we are internally saying to ourselves. And what's going to happen is your brain's going to go to work. As soon as you give yourself a question, your brain's going to go try to find the answer. So if you say, why am I a piece of shit? Your brain's going to go, well, here's all the reasons why you are. But if you say, how am I so amazing and so smart and can get through this? Your brain's going to go to work and figure it out. And that is the difference between somebody that's successful versus somebody that is not, and spinning those wheels. So if you want to learn more on this, especially if you're finding yourself that they're blind spots and maybe it works for you for a day, but you're ready for something that's more like, give me some grounding and some footing, I have a wonderful masterclass and a course called the Align Accelerator that shows individuals how to make this as a normal into their life. And all it takes is repetition. The more that we repeat it and the more skills that we learn and the more activities that we can do in our journal together, the more that it's going to activate and create new neurons in the brain to have a different neurological pathway for us to really start reaching our potential and our success. It should not be difficult. It really should not, I promise. When you blend tools and you blend energy together, it is the success ticket that we all need. Lots of love. If you want to see that masterclass, just go ahead and see that link down below, and I'll see you in there. The character you have developed will eventually be put into action to become the essence of who you really are. And for some of you, that moment is in the future, and for others, that moment is today. You can rise to that moment, and I have a free masterclass that's going to show you the 5 steps to the Align method that's going to walk you through stuck, anxiety, and stress over into your full alignment, your potential, and full freedom. It's a wonderful masterclass. I'm excited for you to be a part of it. Go ahead and click the link down below to get to learn more.